in terms of looking at issues, particularly in relation to what transpired today. And the important issue is to hear from the President we will soon start with the interview. The President is now in the room, and I think more content, and also the President, you know that he is campaigning in South Africa with a difficult task, and I think that is why he can't even join the program in the afternoon today, because he has to go back to South Africa. You know, every Monday that ANC meeting of officials, working committee, sometimes extended NEC, as you know, that there are issues that the President has to address in the party, the recent issues. Mr. President, thank you for your time. We are in Rwanda. I spoke to President Paul Kagame. He was really at pains lamenting the relationship between South Africa and Rwanda, particularly on issues related to bilateral trade and investment visas, but also the issue of the DRC, the deployment of the SADC troops, where South Africa is part of, because we are part of SADC. Can you take us through what you discussed? Were you able to resolve those issues of concern to South Africa and to Rwanda?
Well, good afternoon. Very good to see you here in Kigali. And I guess you were also part of the commemoration that we have been truly honored to be part of. We came to Rwanda following the invitation that Rwanda extended to us to be part of this commemoration. And we felt it important to join in the commemoration of the genocide that happened 30 years ago here. And the fact that President Paul Kagame and the government of Rwanda felt that they should invite us is born out of the position that South Africa has always taken vis-a-vis Rwanda. We've always had good relations with Rwanda over a number of years. In fact, when the genocide happened 30 years ago, it was President Mandela who regretted that we did not really fully give a helping hand to the Rwandese at the time when they were going through a moment of catharsis themselves, because we were bringing an end to the system of apartheid, and the two very important events just almost crossed each other like ships in the night. So following that, South Africa embarked on a number of initiatives, which President Kagame spoke about in his speech at the commemoration today, applauding the help that South Africa post-apartheid gave to Rwanda and the solidarity that we pledged, how we helped Rwanda to rebuild its health system by supporting and paying for doctors from Cuba, and how we opened our universities and colleges for Rwandese students to come to South Africa to learn, and how he said many of those who were trained in South Africa are today occupying positions of leadership in their own country. So he applauded South Africa. That in many ways goes to demonstrate the very good and special relationship between our two countries, a relationship which over the years, yes, has faced some challenges. He and I, from the time I became president, have always sought to find ways of straightening out the wrinkles in our relationship. And last night I had an extensive discussion with him about how we can refashion our relationship and on a bilateral basis deal with some of the issues that have to do with visas, that have to do with travel. And we believe that we are definitely going to get on the way of rekindling and rebuilding that relationship. I say rekindling because it is a relationship that is in existence. And like relationships between countries, sometimes they face challenges and they wrinkle up. And so those wrinkles will be straightened out. Yes, we did speak about the challenges that are prevailing now as a result of the situation in the eastern part of the DRC, and how both countries, in fact, how the region, SADC, can work towards installing peace. We all agreed that peace was an essential component of fostering the development of this part of the continent, and that in doing so, we should bring the conflicts that are happening in the eastern part of the DRC to an end. And also, whatever actions that are going on to also destabilize Rwanda through the incursions of the FDLR. So there are a number of forces that operate in this area, and we agreed that a peaceful political solution is the best option to any military action. And beyond discussing with President Kagame, I also had a number of discussions with a number of other leaders. I also had a very good discussion with President Mbeki, who was also attending the commemoration, and we discussed the situation in Eastern DRC. I went on to have discussions with other leaders from other countries, and all of us in our discussions expressed a very deep yearning for a peaceful political solution to the challenges that are being faced here. So I leave Rwanda with a renewed vigor and intention that we should find a solution that will lead to a political solution to what is prevailing here. The people of DRC yearn for peace, and similarly the people of Rwanda also yearn for peace. And so therefore, all of us combined, including SADC, should work towards installing peace in this area so that the conflicts and the violent conflicts, the displacement of people in the DRC and indeed in Rwanda should come to an end, so that there should be peace and silence the guns in this part of our continent. So that is what we are hoping and aiming for.
Your Excellency, since the issue with the DRC, there is the Luanda process and the Nairobi process in place. Is there a direct role for South Africa now that South Africa is leading a SADC force in the Eastern DRC?
Yes, there is the Nairobi process, there is the Luanda process, and all these processes are collectively aimed at ensuring that the conflict comes to an end. And we take a lot of inspiration from that. The President Lorenzo of Luanda who leads SADC, is firmly involved in the process that was initiated, which is the Luanda process. So we work under his leadership and his guidance. And the Nairobi process is a process that was aimed at installing a ceasefire, as well as ensuring that there is a political intervention and a solution. South Africa, therefore, has a role to play as well in supporting all these processes. We are part of SADC, and we therefore play a key role in supporting the two processes. So we will not try to install a process on our own. We will work in tandem with the processes that are underway. We do play an important role in that as members of SADC, we want to see peace. And peace is our calling card. That's what we bring to the whole process. And so therefore, we do not see our role being exclusive. We see it being inclusive of all the other processes that are ongoing. And of course, we have to be talking to all parties. We have to interface and interact with all other parties. And with that, I'm sure that we should be able to find solutions to the conflict.
Sure. Thanks, Vincent. Mr. President, if you could flesh out some of the details on the discussions you had with Mr. President Kagame on resolving the standoff around the visas. What are the details? By when would you want this resolved? Were there any timelines that you agreed to?
President Kagame and I obviously want the various challenges that we face to be resolved as quickly as possible. And so we have not exactly set out a time frame, but as soon as possible, we want this to be resolved because we want ease of travel for Rwandese to come to South Africa. And we are in the process of dealing with a number of issues as it is now through the regulatory processes. So I would not be able to give a time frame, but all I can say is we want immediately to resolve the challenges that prevail. For South Africa, it's not a good option for us to be at loggerheads with any country on the continent. That is not who we are. We are a country that, because of our foreign policy, should be at peace with all countries in the world, because our remit is a better Africa and a better world. And South Africa should be always committed to having good relations with all countries in the world. And if there are problems and challenges, we must always be on the side of seeking solutions to whatever problems there are. So we are going to resolve these as quickly as possible, because not doing so serves the interests of those who may not want to see good relations between our two countries. So we want good relations. I certainly want to see good relations between South Africa and Rwanda, and indeed all other countries as well.
Mr. President, let me say, you were saying that Rwanda is rebuilding itself after 10
Yes.
years. Let me draw a parallel with South Africa, if it's possible. 10 years after apartheid, the next election, maybe ANC will lose its majority for the first time. This can be a very big change for your country. What's your opinion on that?
Well, the two countries have like similarities. Rwanda rebuilding itself, and it's 30 years that they've been at it, and we have been at it for 30 years, and we've seen tremendous progress. in our own country, the South Africa that we live in today is vastly different from the South Africa that we had in 1994. And we have seen great improvement, great movement forward. We are a country of 62 million people, and many of our people have seen changes in their lives. And like many other countries, we face challenges, a number of challenges that have to be addressed. And we are addressing those challenges. And what I can assure you is that the party that I lead, the African National Congress, is not going to lose its majority on the 29th of May. Many South Africans still love the African National Congress, and indeed I am brimming with confidence that we are going to do well in the elections. So watch this space, my dear friend.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. President. Colleagues, thank you so much. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
That was President